Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we're going to nonfiction realm now with The Wager by David Grann. It's technically titled The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder. So this was a book club pick by Kelly, and it follows a crew back, I think, in the 1700s, right? Or 1750, maybe 1800s. I don't remember the time. I should.
I don't have a dust jacket, so I can tell you through
Someone
that shit.
fact check me on that. I guess, oh,
I think you're right.
1742.
89. Madeline, you were close.
Okay, so that time period. This ship was leaving the United Kingdom or UK. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these small details. And they were going on this mission down around South America. And their goal was to like capture this enemy Spanish ship. However, along the way, the crew or like these it was three ships. They encountered a lot of hurdles, famine, disease, lost a lot of people, and then eventually, it's not a spoiler, the shipwrecks in the title. And then this crew is on this island that they call Wager Island, and they're trying to get off, they're trying to survive, and this book is all about their journey. So we will do spoilers because I feel like we have to with this one. Um, and it's just way more fun to talk about. What did you rate it, Andrea?
Dude, I didn't look that up. I rated it a B plus.
U plus. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it?
Um, for another like instance of a nonfiction book that was well written, I read Moby Dick. It was way better than Moby Dick. Way less boring, more to the point. It was interesting to me how they survived, and like how strict the naval rules were. Like they're all like concerned about like mutiny and like what will happen if they make it back to the mainland and like what will happen with their trial and if they'll be found guilty or whatever. They were all very concerned about that, which I think they hang them if they're mostly seemed like that was the scenario. Um but yeah, other than that, it was pretty good. There was only one part I didn't like, and
The
so
dog.
yeah, I rated B plus. Yeah, the dog. So
Yeah, I
B
think we should
plus.
start a website for, they have one for Does the Dog Die for movies. I think we should do one Does the Dog Die for books. And it should be in the front as a trigger warning. I rated it a B plus too because I thought it was a really great nonfiction book. It was easy to read and it was really interesting. We are all, I'm speaking for everyone, Master and Commander fans, and I loved seeing the things mentioned in the book that carried on to the movie. And it was just like, oh, I've seen that before. It was really not educational, but interesting to read if you kind of have an interest in naval type of things or that time period. I also thought all of the diseases were kind of fascinating, very sad, but like how they had scurvy. And now with modern medicine, we know like they just needed to eat some limes, or get some, different vitamins. But it was just wild to see like how different the times were back then and how they survived and how little like they really knew evidence or like science wise. I also loved the tales of when or like kind of like the competition of getting um back to the mainland. I could not believe that so many people actually made it. I think if I were on the ship and I would have wrecked, I would have just died on the first day on Wager Island. I would have been like, I give up. I don't want to do this. Eat like seaweed or I don't, they found some celery, but it just seemed terrible. I was shocked that so many people made it back.
Great. So I rated this one an A. I thought this was so well written and so interesting. And also disturbing at the same time. I couldn't believe anyone survived. It was insane. It sounds awful. And I feel like I realized halfway through that like the stuff that they're doing is crazy, but they're also doing it while they're like starving to death and have no energy. And I just can't imagine because like I get tired at like 9 o'clock and I'm like, see ya, right? Like I'm just gonna go to sleep. Like I can't imagine being tired all the time because you're malnourished. Um, so that part was crazy. I hated the dog scene, could not get over it. Thought I was gonna cry, almost cried, did not cry, but that was awful. Um, I I don't know. I really think there are two things that I thought were interesting. One is that they really only survived at all because the shipwreck got wedged between those two rocks and they could keep salvaging stuff from it, right? I really think that's the only reason they survived. The other thing that made me mad is like the natives of the area were like so helpful and were like saving them and they were kind of like jerks to them. And
Mhm.
then they left because the natives left because they were like the shipwreckies were like not nice. And I'm like, oh my God, these people can survive here and can help you, and you guys are just all dicks. But
I also I had a thought. Oh, I loved that there was actual documentation. I think that made me love the book more of how they have this information isn't just pieced together from like hearsay over the years, because this is from, hundreds of years ago. It's because a few of the people kept journals throughout. So they have actual documentation. It's based on their accounts. Hopefully they were being honest, but it's like what was actually happening at the time, which I found fascinating.
it's so interesting.
And we were all shocked that Kelly picked this book.
Yeah, that was the biggest shocker.
Wild.
Who picked Night Bitch also picked The Wager.
She keeps us on our toes. Even
Mhm.
Steve really liked this one. He read ahead, which was breaking a book club rule. But
You did not just like read ahead, right? Let's be honest.
He
Like
had like two chapters left.
yeah.
he came to the first discussion where you're supposed to read 60 pages, and he only had like 10 pages left in the whole book. Like he read the whole thing almost.
Which isn't a testament to the Audible version because he listens to the book. So if you don't want to necessarily read it, apparently the Audible is pretty good too. And he doesn't even read on vacation. He read this book on vacation. So
No. Who
yeah,
doesn't read on vacation?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole point of vacation.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, that's The Wager. Great
Great.
nonfiction. Highly rated by us three, which accounts for something. Go read it.